Okay.
So that story that we were telling earlier, where we had to sleep in the sand, Pink Coral Sand Dunes, we stayed there, and we obviously had zero hookups, and we weren't prepared to boondock. So we tried to spend as much time out of the RV as possible. So we were just in town a lot, walking around, and we came across the Perry Lodge. And Britt was like, "Oh my God, that thing is so cute. It'd be amazing to do like a little film festival."
The barn in the back.
Yeah, the barn in the back.
Well, you studied film, right? So, so there's that background, and I don't know. I guess film is something you're interested in as well. No.
I mean, I like movies, but I.
Okay, so this.
I mean, that's why this works. Is like he's passionate about film. I love to put on events.
Oh, okay.
You know, so to have a project that I can something to plan and organize and put together, like you gave me a good venue. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So
had you had the idea or thought of like doing a film festival before you saw the Perry Lodge, or just like you saw that?
I mean,
was it just like saying it in the moment and then like
it really like? Well, I mean,
I don't think we knew we were going to live here.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was just like an idea.
When that happened, it wasn't like we're 100% living here.
Yeah, you know? I think we were. I think we had decided that already.
I was on the fence. Just kidding.
Well, right, I mean, we had through that we had found out about like the history of Kanab and all the films and the fact that it was called like Little Hollywood, and just like couldn't believe that there wasn't a real film festival here. I mean, not to say that the Little Hollywood Shootout.
No, I mean, the Little Hollywood Shootout
a film
is
festival.
For filmmakers.
Yeah.
Because it's a like 24-hour, 48-hour film fest.
Yeah.
Like you make a movie and then you show it.
Right. But there wasn't like a multi-day festival where you go and we had
people that like movies.
Yeah. And I'd gone, my only experience, I think, at a film fest was Marfa. Oh, and the one in Mexico,
Taos.
Taos, yeah.
Taos Shorts.
Jeff did, a film, and so we went to Marfa and Taos, and there were both like small festivals.
In small towns.
In small towns, like, but very cool and hip, and the people were so neat and nice, and it was like this community of people that got together because they just loved film, and I was like, we can do that. Like, that just gave the vibe here.
Yeah.
And
so that's what we based sort of the Kanab Film Festival off of, is like Taos and
just
Marfa,
our experience,
but with our own spin. Like, oh, that was really cool. Like, I had never been to a film fest where they put me up before. Like, when I was in the Louisville Film Fest, I just stayed with my parents. Like, obviously, I didn't need to be put up in a hotel.
And Marfa, we rented a house with friends, but then Taos, they like extended a stay for all filmmakers. It was, it just blew my mind. Like, it was the coolest. We got to stay, like, all the hotels were totally into it, and we got to stay at this really neat,
awesome bed and breakfast.
Yeah, it was just such a special weekend. And then you can walk to the theater, and there were cute little restaurants, and it was just a memorable thing. I'm like, well, we can totally do that here, and it just felt doable because it was small. Where in Austin, I don't think I'd ever have that desire. I'm like, there's already Austin Film Festival, there's South by Southwest. Like, what's the point, right? You're just gonna do it, and it's just going to be compared to these big things. And
unless you're like super niche, like Horror Fest.
Yeah,
like,
super niche, right.
That's fine, but I'm not.
But I was like, Jeff is very confident in the technical aspects, I guess. And I was very confident going into planning something.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a film degree. I taught film and animation and visual effects. So can I bump together two clips and design something? Yeah, totally I can.
Right.
So we reached out and asked the city, Kanab Arts Board, right?
Yeah.
For help. And
got in touch with the guy who was running the arts board.
Right.
So what year was it you saw the Perry Lodge, and then how long until like when you started the fest?
Yeah, so we saw it in 2017, and then I approached Kanab Arts Board because Britt was watching the kids, and so I was. We were just in town. We hadn't moved there yet, right? We went away. The Bowman story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we walked into Perry Lodge, and there was a family setting up for a wedding. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, come in, check out the space. You should come to the wedding later. And we're like, what? And they were like, no, really. Like, we'll be offended if you don't show up. And we're like, what the fuck? Where are we?
And then we were like, should we go? And what do we bring? And I think we bought like a box of Kind bars.
We did. From the Hampton Inn.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you should be kind to each other. Here you go. And anyway, it wasn't even the like ceremony. Like you get to, I was like,
that was our first.
Skip the church, show up to the party.
Utah wedding, like reception.
Yeah,
it was
we didn't
nuts.
know anything about it.
Oh my God, it blew us away.
Yeah. So all you can eat,
chili bar.
or like build your own. Yeah, chili bar, build your own trail mix bar.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super awesome.
It was lit. It was the most sober wedding I've ever been to. I was like, this is amazing.
They were so nice.
Every wedding that we've been to since has been downhill. Not because it hasn't been nice in its own regard, but like that blew my mind.
How good it was.
Yeah. Well, and just the concept. And so when I was telling people like, hey, we're moving to this town and we got invited to a wedding, but like just the party. And they were like, who does that? I was like, right. It's okay. It's not me being crazy. They're like, that would never happen anywhere. I'm like, okay, Kanab's a super special place. So that's how we discovered the Perry Lodge. And then...
but then it was like several months later when we moved here, right?
September 2018.
We rented a house. Yeah.
And then in October, December, I approached the Kanab Arts Board, seeing if they would like... if they had the funds, I guess, to do this.
Or help us
in
get
whatever
oriented
capacity.
in the town. Yeah. Because obviously the reasoning, like in that time we figured out that my parents were going to move there. We were going to start an RV park and we both like went back, sold our homes. Like that was the goal, to sell our home. And then move to Kanab. We sold our home first. We had been traveling a lot anyway, so we were ready to settle down. But we had to wait till my parents sold their home, and then they wanted to travel for several months before moving here. So we just kind of had this big chunk of time where we had no jobs, we had nothing to do, which was nice, but we're also like not those kinds of people that are like and fun for like a couple weeks, but then like, oh my God, what do we do? Like
craving
we need
community,
to do something.
You know? Like, I gotta go out and meet people.
All right, we're like, okay, let's like start this film fest and do that. And right, I started like a cleaning business. I started cleaning Airbnbs, and then I hired people out to then clean the Airbnb, so I didn't have to do it anymore. And like just trying to find like ways to make money and do fun things and occupy our time. And Film Fest was one of them.
Oh, yeah. So the first one, the first film festival then
2019.
April.
And it was April. Okay.
We put it together.
So we had only been here a month. That's right.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's right. We drove by. It was freezing cold. I'm like, oh, that's too bad.
Oh, yeah. Because it was like the
right.
freaking like hurricane coming in like Florida or something. And it was bringing all this terrible weather. And of course, we have the barn in spring, and you think it's going to be awesome. And
there's a shitload of holes in the Perry Lodge.
And they didn't allow heaters. So we got like all the blankets from 𝗞𝗶𝗹𝗺 Kitchen.
Yeah.
They let us borrow all of their
and
blankets.
Lara Clayson.
And Lara Clayson had all these blankets. So we just like, everybody would grab a blanket, watch a movie. I mean, it was really kind of cool.
It was romantic if it wasn't so freaking
we were
cold.
so cold, but you know, you just
work,
rolled
right?
with the punches.
And we did it in 4 months. Like, we needed a grant from the county to just say, okay, we have X amount of dollars to pull this off. And we know, I mean, I knew it was going to be small. And so prior to getting the grant, I just went ahead and had a logo designed, and I bought the URL, and I did some other stuff. And it was just like, okay, we have the money. I have all the stuff. Oh, I had also set up a Film Freeway account. Like I was ready to go. And it was like, boom, cash in hand. We put it together in 4 months. And that was the first one.
And we had a group, like there were 5 of us. I mean, we were our idea then, and then there were like 3 other people.
Yeah. So anyway, after that first year, we realized that like, okay, we can do this. They helped, but we wanted like full creative control over it. Right. And so they kept all the money that was left over from the fundraising.
Arts Council,
like I couldn't buy anything because only
kind of a bummer.
The president of the arts board who had the credit card was able to purchase stuff, and you had to call the city every time you wanted to buy something. It was like infuriating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I would go in and be like, look, this is what we need to buy. Can I have permission? No, we're only going to talk to the president of the arts board. How am I supposed to get anything done?
Oh.
Yeah. It felt like if we continued in that like structure, we wouldn't ever create a festival of our vision. It would just become something else, or always be at the mercy of like what you can and can't do because it's a city event.
Right.
And you know, and we didn't want that. So
we got out there and raised like more than
free.
twice as much money as the year before, just like me walking around, which is now my strategy. It's like go on foot,
Knowing
like don't make
everybody.
phone calls, you know, like if they're not there, fine, follow up. You know, it's maybe more tedious and a harder process, but you have FaceTime with people.
Yeah.
And so like Glaciers has supported us literally since the first festival.